So Lamar, welcome. We're an author. How long have you been an author for?
2 years.
And we've got two books here that you've brought today.
Yeah.
So run us through them as I look through them.
Young King was my first book I
King.
published. So that was literally just before my son was born. And then, that done very well. Bestsellers. Parents were loving it, the kids. So I said, if I do one for Young King, I have to do one for the Young Queens, which is obviously for girls. That one's been out just under a year. And also another bestseller. Is been doing extremely well in terms of, they're reaching out, people buying it, and it's just blown my mind away because for my mindset was like, if I can, touch one, I've done my job. But it's parents, I'm getting messages all the time saying, this is, changing my daughter's life. Like they have to read it before bed. They're bringing it to school with them. And so the two books are in a lot of primary schools now, quite a few libraries all over London and outside of London. And it's just going from strength to strength and changing lives and mindsets.
And I see that it's affirmations based, right? So why did you go down that, like the affirmations route and not just like a general textbook?
I think because obviously I work with young people, so I've been working with young people for a number of years, and I go into primary schools and different establishments with young people in, and a lot of it, when I speak to them, their thought process is so negative at such a young age, which is crazy to me. So I said, if I'm able to put, affirmations into a book, because every child is different. Some are visual, some, are practical. So I said, if I can create a book, they can see it and they can see, that it's a representation of themselves, that they can see themselves more. And even if they get one thing from the book, let's say, for example, I've got in a book, I Am Beautiful, then that will go a long way for them and they will remember it and say to themselves, I am beautiful. So, that's where the inspiration came.
Yeah, I love
about
that. And as I mentioned to you downstairs, I'm a big advocate of affirmations, positive self-talk, because it's so important. Like we live in a society now where, like you just said, everyone is negative, and I feel like for the younger generation, it's just worse. Like they're the ones that are going to be struggling the most. We've got social media, we've got all this comparison. It's really, really bad. But one thing I wanted to mention, and why I love it so much, and I don't know if you actually know this, but do you know much about like the conscious mind and the subconscious mind?
I've heard about it,
So obviously your conscious mind has a faculty called the reasoning faculty, which is your ability to accept or reject a thought. So if you want to drink that water, you can either reject it, not drink it, accept it and drink it. And as a kid, your reasoning faculty doesn't develop until you are, I believe, 7 or 8 years old. So what that means is that your subconscious mind can't tell the difference between spiritual or physical. So whatever is impressed onto it will accept it. And as a kid, that subconscious mind is wide open. So when teachers are saying to you, oh, you're terrible at English, or you can't read, you struggle with maths, and then you've got your parents that are getting extra lessons for you, that is now ingrained in you. And as you grow up, you are seen as someone that can't read, write, and talk. And that's why I think it's so important that books like this, where kids are telling themselves, I am beautiful, all of that stuff, because it's programming their mind for when they grow up, it's already ingrained. And I think I love it so much. And it's just so important. And then obviously once you're older, it's a lot harder to change. So.
And that's it. And, my son is not even 1 yet. I'm always telling him, he might not understand, but I'm always telling him, you're going to be successful.
Yes, I love that.
I'm always pouring into him. So when he gets to an age where he understands, it's like, he's going to believe it because he's been hearing it all his life. So it's just important pouring into the next generation. So important.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Because this might sound mad, but it's like you have to program
Yeah.
your kid.
You
Like,
have
I know that sounds crazy, but from like if you understand what I just said,
Yeah.
you would know that that is how you are wired. That's
Yeah.
how you are programmed.
And they follow every footstep as well that you take. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. I've always wondered, how does it work in terms of becoming an author?
yeah, so it's quite hard. It's not easy at all. And because I am a self-published, so I chose that route because I just wanted more scope. I wanted to do my own thing, reach who I wanted to reach, rather than someone telling me what to do. I can't have my book in certain places.
Okay, so that's what a publisher does.
Yeah,
So
they
like
can control you.
is it-
Penguin, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
So yeah, they basically tell you what to do. I just wanted to do my own thing. I wanted my book in almost every primary school in London, which it is now. And yeah, it's like when you're with a publisher, it's like, music
Okay.
label.
There's a lot of politics.
There's a lot of politics. So with my actual book that's coming out, I took the publishing route. So yeah, I took the publishing route this time in terms of signing with like Penguin.
Okay.
Because yeah, just wanted, now I've got 2 that's out there. I wanted just to go the route where, my books are even bigger stores like WH Smith and, Waterstones. So that's the next route.
And is it easy? Is it easy to be with these publishers, or like can you get rejected?
Yeah, you can get rejected. So you have to have a good, they have to like you for one and like your work.
Yeah.
And it has to be different because there's millions of books out there. So they want to see that, yeah, this can reach a lot of people and sells, which they look at the most. And yeah, so.
Not giving too much away, but what's the new book about?
So it's very similar in terms of the affirmations. It's a storybook. And yeah, be called More Than Enough. For me, that's the most, I'll say the book that I took the most time with, because the title says it all. And not to give a bit away, but yeah, it just changes a whole child's mindset, that book. And yeah, that was the plan. So I took my time with that one, sent it out to like Penguin Books, and yeah, they loved it. So
nice. When is it coming out?
That'll be coming out, I say, start of December, so before Christmas time.
Okay,
so
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And where will people be able to find it?
Amazon, Penguin. Next year, I know it'll be in WH Smith.
Okay.
Adstar, a few stores. So
wicked.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that, Lamar.
you,
Good luck. And as you reached out, and I was actually very inspired by your story.
Yeah.
As you said that you're speaking about it downstairs, you've grown up with a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
So in your journey so far, it can be at any point, how would you describe that journey in 3 words?
That's a good question. Inspirational.
Yep.
Impactful.
Okay.
And I never had a question where it's just
no, it's fine. Take your time, man. Think about it. Because you know what's coming next, right? yeah, you know what's coming next.
I'll say hard.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's start off with hard.
Yeah.
What made you pick that word to describe your journey?
Childhood.
Yeah.
So what I've gone through childhood, it's been a battle, but it's made me the man I am today. So that's why, I chose the word hard. Traumatic, should I say?
Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot, been through a lot, and as I said, that's just made me the man I am today. So it was a battle getting through childhood, but I know I always had a mindset where, despite the situation I'm in, I'm gonna make it out. So yeah, it's been hard. especially not having a father figure as a, a black man. The stats are high in terms of a lot of people that are in prison. So I say young men are without fathers or from broken homes. So I always made sure I wasn't going to be in that stat, and just be different and be a leader. So,
I love that. And I think the reason why I wanted to get you on is because I don't care whether you're a multimillionaire, whether you're homeless, or if you have a story that can impact people, that's more than enough for me. And the work that you're doing and how you've grown up, I just think it's so inspirational from a standpoint where you're literally changing people's lives, especially in like the black community. Because now people will look at you and say, oh, Lamar's black, I'm black, I've experienced this. I can do that. And I just think that is such a great story. And it's just from a standpoint of I can do whatever I want or I can achieve whatever I want. I think you're a very, very good example. And you're only going to continue to go there. So the next word was impactful. So let's dive a bit deeper into that one, impactful.
So why I chose that word, I feel like in terms of, for me, I've made a massive impact in my community. And that's just, I get messages every day from parents messaging me saying, you've really helped me, you've helped my son or my daughter, or even, getting invited to schools, different establishments. It just shows, obviously, I'm making an impact and, my name is going around. So that's from when I obviously got to an age where I knew where I wanted to go. I said to myself, I need to make an impact. So that's what I'm doing today. So
wicked. And when you go to these talks, like what are you talking about? Like what are you saying to the kids? I know you mentioned downstairs that you go to prisons as well. Is it more on the motivational side, or is it more talking about your story?
So it's more on the motivational side, talking about my story. Depends on what, sometimes the school asks me to do, whether it's one-to-one counselling, speaking to a young person about, trauma that they're facing. So it's a different range of stuff that I speak to them about, one-to-one work, group work, assemblies, and So,
did you ever think about like becoming like a therapist? Did that ever cross your mind?
Yeah.
Is that on the cards or?
It is. I'm always like to my wife, I'm like, I want to go back to uni and, do it. And she's always like, do it, but now always putting it off. So I think I just got to do it.
I mean,
it's always been on my mind. So
I mean, like, there's other ways, right? Like what you're doing right now. Going to schools. Going to prisons. All of that stuff. Don't necessarily have to be in a room sat like this, talking about, what people are going through. So, because that means you got to go back to uni, study for 4 years. I mean, it depends how bad you want it, right?
It's true.
And then the first word you said was inspirational.
Inspirational,
Why? Why is your journey so inspirational?
So just like I told you my story, I feel like it's where I grow up. It's not normal for someone to go through that and make it out. Got a lot of friends that are in that life, dead, and literally they had the same childhood as me. And obviously they chose that route. I chose the other route. So for me, it's just inspiring to see, what I've done, especially with everything around me. Just when I look back, it's inspiring to see, where I've come from. So
no, it is. Like I said to you, it's a truly inspiring story. You don't. The journey that you've gone through, like abuse with your stepdad and your mom, and being so young. I think when you're young, that's the hardest. Because you feel like you can't do anything. Like, was there ever times where you tried to fight your dad or stuff like that?
So a lot. And then I had bad, like, as you can imagine, anger. So in school, I I used to get like therapy. Even in football, I was just angry a lot. And obviously due to what I've seen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was tough growing up. A lot of anger.
And are you at a point now where you can control that anger, or do you have like?
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, because I am a Christian, go to church, so you know, that's helped me a lot with everything, trauma, and yeah, just being grounded in my faith has helped.
It's important, right? Yeah. No, I agree. Let's go back to, I know you kind of explained a bit, but let's move away from the trauma side of things and talk about 16-year-old Lamar.
Yeah.
Where was he heading? What was he doing? Yeah. What was his goals? Was he on track to becoming that person that he wanted to be? Did he go to uni? Was he working a 9 to 5? Like, let's go back to 16-year-old Lamar.
Yeah.
How old are you, by the way?
26.
10 years ago. 10 years ago.
I would say I was on a fence. So
yeah,
that was the time as well. My older brother was in jail. So for me, and I didn't have a good circle around me at the time. So for me, it was like, it was making that conscious decision. Am I going to go down that route, the road route, or am I going to be different? When I promised myself from a young age that I was always going to be different. So it was tough. I was literally in the middle of where I wanted to go in life. And then, yeah, what helped me was football. Yeah, I always say what helped me was football. Because if I didn't have football, then definitely I would have gone down that route. But football kept me grounded and kept me, you know, going. And because I was good at it as well, it was like, yeah, I can actually make it or earn a career, a living from it. So yeah, that was where I was at 16. And then, yeah, I made the right decision at 16 to just focus and going on the right route. So yeah.
So when you say you didn't go down the road route, were you getting, like, what would have made you go down that route? Were the people around you quite influential in the sense that, yo, come on, Lamar, come this side?
Yeah. It wasn't even like that. I had friends that were in that life, but they wouldn't drag me in it. Yeah. So it was a thing where if I went down that route, I would have just been a follower. Because they weren't like, they always respected that I was, you know, good at football and wanted something for myself. So yeah, it was a thing where, you know, if I went down that route, I'd have just been a follower. And that's something that I've never ever wanted to be in life. So it's like, let me just set my own trend and, you know, be different. And it paid off. So yeah.
Do you think you would have ended up in prison?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. The way it was going, and as I said, I had a lot of trauma. I was angry, used to lash out. And where I'm from is Harlesden. So if you know Harlesden, is like,
I saw on your Amazon that it's classed as the ghetto.
Yeah. Harlesden, like a lot of people, it's just like, yeah, Harlesden. Like, it's not a thing where they're happy to go there. So Harlesden is a mad area. So yeah, I made it out. So.
Yeah. Now you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy when you like reflect and you actually, like, I asked you that question. Do you think you would have been in prison?
Yeah.
And you said yes, but you've made the conscious decision to not be a follower. Yeah. Follow your dreams, impact the world. Yeah. And I think if the younger generation, like I said to you at the start of the pod, it's just getting worse. And I feel like if kids just knew, if they could just see a glimpse of where they were heading, if they go on the other side of the fence of not going down, getting into gangs, roadman, whatever you want to call it, that they just make that switch. And I'm very happy that you made that switch, because now you're here living the life of your dreams and you're only progressing. Whereas some people, let's just say the worst version of yourself would have maybe gone down that route and you would be in prison and you wouldn't be here having this conversation, right? Yeah. So you can only commend yourself and pat yourself on the shoulder for that. Yeah. Football. I know we mentioned
Yeah.
we were talking about it a bit downstairs, but you went to America, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your position is keeper.
Yeah.
It was a scholarship.
4 years. Yeah.
So how does it work out there when you get a scholarship? You still attend school.
Yeah.
You just
And,
play
practice
football
every day.
Wicked.
So
Accommodation,
yeah,
all that stuff paid
accommodation,
for?
yeah,
Wicked.
apartment, everything. Only thing I had to pay. Well, that depends on your scholarship. I
Mm.
got 100% scholarship, which
Nice.
is the best. So only thing I had to pay for literally was like groceries,
Mm.
but books and everything was paid for in college, apartment. So yeah, I was living good, man, out there.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing in year 11, I said to myself, you know, if I don't make it in England, I've always wanted to go to America to play. So when I got there now, I was like, yeah, this is another thing ticked off. I've done it. So yeah.
Wicked. And what was the reason why you haven't pursued going into football?
In terms of now, why I didn't.
Yeah. Like what happened?
I think, so a lot of things happen in America. So yeah, I was doing well out there. I was meant to be there for 4 years. Ended up only doing 2. I was doing very, very well. Playing, I was on form. Just, yeah, I made so much friends and family out there. And then, yeah, a lot of things happened out there where I was in a house fire, 3rd-degree burn. So I was in a hospital for a few months. I had a family out there that I met, took me and looked after me, done, yeah, everything for me, which I'm so grateful for. And then, yeah, as you can imagine, I'm a goalkeeper. So obviously my right hand, this is my 3rd-degree burn.
Oh, wow,
It was up here. So they did say that, you know, it would take years for me to recover. So yeah, literally after a few months, I tried to go back, playing, and yeah, like it just used to swell up, and I was like, yeah, it was just uncomfortable. Obviously, I have to wear gloves. I used to wrap it up, but it was just uncomfortable for me. Obviously, got 3rd-degree burns on my legs as well. And I have to dive, so I was like, yeah, looks like it's not working out for me. And a few months after that, so that year was probably one of the worst years of my life. I was in a bad car crash where I lost my good friend in that car crash. So yeah, man, it's tough.
Gone through a lot, Lamar, man.
Yeah.
Gone through a lot. But we're grateful. We're grateful that you're still alive. We're grateful that you're here. That God made the right decisions for you, put you on the right path.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a bit thrown off, even though you told me downstairs.
Yeah.
Let's move away from the football stuff. So then you came back to the UK.
Yeah. So
And that's, when did the mindset shift from, nah, I really want to create an impact now?
yeah. So I came back just before Christmas. So I just had a lot of time, and in the car crash, I broke my leg and my arm. So just took time out to recover. And then, yeah, before I left America, I was doing some youth work in terms of I was doing coaching as well. I was coaching little kids football. So I've always had a passion working with young people. And yeah, I just was like, yeah, this is my journey. I know it is, working with young people. So yeah, I just started working in schools. And then, yeah, I was like, this is definitely my calling in life, to work with young people. So yeah.
What's sort of the biggest thing that you've done within like the youth community? Is that working at a really big school, a university, a prison?
I think obviously running different youth organisations. Even I've one in Buckinghamshire where it's mad to me because I'm a Brent boy. But because I live up there, I literally set up my own like summer youth programs, because up there is deemed a good place, but young people have nothing to do. So I was like, cool, let me do something up there for them. And that's just been going so well, successful. Many young people are enjoying it, and I'm just making a difference there. And everywhere I go, every borough, try and make an impact with young people. So I feel like me just going around and speaking to different young people from different walks of life is everything I've kind of dreamed of doing. So
Okay. And I think when you work with the type of work that you do, it's like you don't attach any monetary value to it. Like you genuinely love to do this stuff. So now when it comes to a day where you can't be bothered or whatever, like because it's your dream and it's your passion and you don't have money attached to it, it's like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important whenever it is something to do with like helping people, it's always so much easier.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if I set up this pod to only make money, it's going to get to a point where I'm probably going to give up.
Yeah.
If the money doesn't come in. Whereas if I'm actually just sit back and think, what do I want to gain from this podcast? I want people to come on like yourself that have a very, very inspirational story whereby I can showcase that to my followers. And like you said, even if one person is inspired by it, that's all that matters. Because then what happens if he's got a similar vision to yourself where he wants to impact the world? It's just a spiral, endless loop. So I think it's so important, and I love it. Have you ever thought about like motivational speaking in general, just like an Eric Thomas type of vibe, or?
Yeah, definitely. I have. So that's something that's on the cards next for next year's. Getting into motivational speaking, because I do it in schools, but I feel like I can reach adults as well, because adults are dealing with trauma as well that they haven't got over from their childhood. So yeah, definitely we'll get into motivational speaking.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Has a kid ever like approached you and told you about like their story or what they're going through?
Yeah, all the time.
What's kind of like a common, I'm not going to ask you like what's the worst, but like what's a common sort of theme that the kids are asking you for advice for?
Yeah. So similar with me, abuse. A lot of them self-harming, especially the girls. And it's just, they're in an environment where it's just crazy at home. They're seeing their mum getting beaten up. And it's just, a lot of them just gravitate towards me because of what I've been through. And one thing I genuinely believe in, young people just need love and support. In this generation, they need it because they're going through a lot. And it's just, sometimes you just got to put your arm around them and just saying, I care about you. I want you to do well. And that can go a long way. So a lot of messages I get in terms of my young people, a lot of them is like, I want to be like you when I grow up. And I'm just like to them, no, be better than me. You can be better than me. You can do it. It's not about where you're from. That plays a part, but you can be bigger than that. Why can't you be the next, biggest lawyer, prime minister? Like, why are we limiting ourselves because of the area we're from? Why can't, we look at people in our area that has made it? So I'm from Brent, people like Sterling, Tyree Mitchell, playing in the Premier League. They've made it. They've come from nothing as well. So I always tell the young people, especially that want to be footballers, like, it's possible. Like, try and shift their mind, because they're always hearing, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, all the time, at school, at home, in their community. Society just wants to just shut these kids' mind, man, and just put them in a box. But I'm always like, you can do it, man. Despite where you come from, despite your background, you can do it. You can become something in life.
No, I agree.
It's possible.
And it comes back to what I just said about at the start of the pod about your subconscious mind being so open.
Yeah.
So when society, and to be honest, parents are to blame as well, because parents are ignorant. They don't know that the subconscious, some may know, but the subconscious mind is open. And what you actually tell your kid is very impactful. So if you're constantly telling them negative things, no, you can't do that. No, you're never going to become pro. It's going to stick, right? And then also you've got society as well, which makes it worse. So it's so important that parents hold themselves accountable to learn these things and know that you need to speak to your son or daughter with care, with love, positivity. Even if, like, I always say, like, even if you know they can't read, just still tell them they can read. Just say you're a great reader, keep going. Or, you know, you're doing really well. Don't say, oh, you're terrible, you need help, and stuff like that. So,
and I feel that's similar with me because I'm dyslexic. Yeah. So I had to work and there's so many kids out there that's dyslexic, or have ADHD. They're deemed as bad kids or stupid. And that's why another thing with this book, because, you know, it talks about that in there. But it's okay, you know, it's okay. Like, you know, we have to work a bit harder than everyone else, but, you know, we're different at the end of the day. So I had to work hard, especially in school, to get the best grades. Yeah. Because it was hard, you know, being dyslexic is hard. So yeah.
It's all about what you believe in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's literally what it comes down to, is what you believe in. Do you believe I can do this? Yes or no? Yes.
100%.
We keep going. No. You're just going to go into your spiral thoughts. Yeah. And that's something that we all struggle with, right? Yeah. And that can be as simple as just going to the gym. Can I believe that I can go to the gym? Yeah. A lot of people will say no. They'll come up with excuses. They'll see the results. Because a lot of people think that they need to change the result in order to take the action. No, you need to change your thoughts. As Bob Proctor says, everyone that listens knows that I always advocate Bob Proctor. He says you got to think from the inside out. Yeah. So when he means inside, he means your thoughts, and your outside is your results. So say, for example, you're wanting to become rich, but you're looking at your bank account. Your bank account isn't bank accounting. It's saying zero. Yeah. So now you're not going to do the things that requires you to be rich. You're not going to start that business. You're going to procrastinate. Whereas if you think, okay, I believe, and like really emotionally believe, only then will you start to take the actions, which will then change the results. But not a lot of people know that. Not a lot of people know that. Yeah. And it's tough. But it's so simple. Yeah. So yeah, that's something that I work on every day, is just believing. Just believing and rejecting the thoughts that, you know, if you're tired, just reject it. But it's easier said than done. Yeah, it is. When you've been programmed from a kid from so early, it's a lot harder, right? Yeah. Going back to the parents thing. Yeah. What's one thing that you think parents should do more of? Besides, you know, what we just spoke about, of giving them love and care and telling them that they're doing well, what else do you think can also impact how they view themselves? Yeah.
I'd say time is a big thing as well. But I understand, you know, the times we live in is hard, but you've got parents working 2 jobs, and my mum did. But yeah, time goes a long way, because it's like they're craving for your attention and love. Like that's your daughter or your son. So time, just pouring into them, because, you know, if you don't give them that time, you know, they're gonna go on a road and find someone that might not be the best role model for them, but showing them love, and that's it. You know, they're being exploited, or so that's what it can lead to if a parent don't give your child love, is they will find it somewhere else where it might not be good for them. So time is a big one for me. Yeah.
And so you released all of this stuff and was in this before you had your child.
Yeah.
So now that you're in it and you're a father, like, are you starting to see the results of what you do and the impact that it has?
Yeah. And yeah, even my wife's amazing, because she's at home with him majority of the time. Yeah. Because I'm at work, and so she is exactly like me. She don't, even from a young age, she don't even allow him to certain, cartoons to watch or music, because we might think that they're babies, but I'm telling you, babies are sponges.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
they pick onto everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and she is doing an amazing job with him. He's just growing, and yeah, and that just motivates me to be a good example.
Yeah.
And just seeing how I treat his mum for me as well is a big thing.
Of course. Yeah.
Because, he's going to get to that age where, teenager, and that's the age where, going to school and just showing females respect, because he's seen his father do it with his mum. So, yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, very important.
Always got to treat just women in
general.
With respect.
Yeah.
But also vice versa.
Vice versa.
You got to treat everyone with respect. What would you say is the biggest lesson that you've learned right now in regards to fatherhood?
It's hard work.
Yeah?
Yeah. I didn't think it was going to be this hard.
What makes it hard?
It's going back to time. Like, you just have to spend a lot of time. Like, when I'm out and in school, sometimes I get home late, and, it's hard being, like, I just want to spend so much time with him. So yeah, and it's just hard work, just keeping on top of them, making sure that, they're growing to the person you want them to be. And yeah, just giving them love and attention is so important. So yeah.
Something just popped into my mind in regards to parenthood. What's your views on when parents are like, oh, I want you to be a doctor. Oh, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. Because I know, especially in like the Asian, African community, it's very much, no, I want you to be a doctor. I want you to be a lawyer. Like, knowing what you know now, like, what's your views on that?
Yeah, I've never been for it, to be honest. Never been. So whatever my son wants to be, I'm going to support him. I might want him to be a footballer. He might want to be a lawyer. So
whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's so
whatever
important.
makes him happy.
Because then, they're just not going to be happy.
Yeah.
Like, I know people that where their parents have told them, oh, you need to be a doctor, and they don't want to be a doctor. And then, like, they're too scared to tell their parents no.
Yeah.
And then they live this life of becoming someone that they're not. And it's just like, man, when you get to a certain age, like, your parents don't really have much. They have influence on you, but at the end of the day, they just got to respect that it's your life. If you don't want to become a doctor, Dad, I don't want to become a doctor. Like, stop forcing me. I think is so important. Just giving your child the freedom to be whatever they want. And cool, maybe if you don't necessarily want them to, you're just going to have to accept it. And support them, which is two of the most important things that you could do as being a parent. So moving away from parenthood, fatherhood, trauma, what's one thing that Lamar is doing really, really well? And that could simply be a habit, that could be your books, that could be consistency. Like, what is it?
Growing as a person.
Yeah.
So every day I'm just feeding myself the right things, spiritually, mentally, and just growing as a man. So I'm doing very well.
You mentioned that you're Christian.
Yeah.
How do you practice faith?
Every day I wake up, read my Bible, listen to worship music, go in church. And that's my routine. I just try to always stay in the presence of God. And he's definitely brought me a long way. And just seeing what he's been doing in my life is amazing. So I'm always will follow him and, ask him to lead me and what he wants me to be in life, So just always, just staying grounded in faith.
Have you always been a Christian?
No, since 18,
Oh, okay.
Since I was 18.
Yeah. How important do you think it is to not necessarily be religious, but believe in some sort of higher power that strengthens you in times of trauma or whatever. Like how important do you think that is to you?
It's so important. It keeps you on track. Because as going back to like your mind will tell you to do something. Then you have that conscious decision where you know what's right and wrong. So it's just being accountable for what you're doing. And that's what helps me a lot in terms of, you know, staying in the faith and being accountable, being a good person, and just, that helps me a lot.
And it's a discipline as well, right?
Yeah,
discipline in a good way.
Yeah.
I was speaking about this yesterday. Muslims, they pray 5 times a day. Like that is a discipline to wake up and pray 5 times a day. And I think if people could get to that point where they just spend 5 minutes or whatever it is religiously, whether that's praying, that's meditating, I think it's just, it's something that I need to work on.
Yeah.
I always say, I want to build my relationship with the Lord, but you know, I'm saying that I'm going to read the Bible, but I don't. I say that I'm going to pray, I don't. Like, I just need to do it.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It is.
It is hard.
It is.
Because it's a commitment as well.
Definitely.
And when you've got so much going on in your plate, it's difficult to juggle all things at once. But anyway, what's one thing Lamar's not doing so well? It can be anything. A lot of people have said, I don't message my friends. Like, what is it? What is that one thing that you can work on to enable you to become that better version of yourself? When your son looks up to you, he says, daddy's doing that. Like, what is that one thing?
I think sometimes I still procrastinate.
Yep.
So even when it comes to a lot of the work that I do, just getting it out there. And before I used to care about what people thought in terms of,
it's a killer,
you know, about this post. But now if you look at my social media, you know the type of work that I do. But before I was so scared of posting online. It just gave me anxiety for some reason. But now it's just, obviously I know my purpose. So it's just doing it and not caring about what people think.
So important.
Yeah.
In this world, you can't give a fuck what people care about, man. Like, it's going to eat you up. It's going to eat you up. That alongside comparing yourself to people, it's the biggest downfall to everyone's failures, right?
Yeah.
Successes, sorry. Like, so many people out there that I know have the potential to be so great, but they compare themselves. Oh, they have this. Yeah. They have that.
Comparison is
it's a killer.
Well, it's big,
And it's something that you can't, like, just turn off.
Yeah.
Like, it's something that you really need to work on.
Mindset,
And it all comes down to your mindset and your thoughts. Especially when it comes to social media.
Yeah.
When it comes to social media, you cannot give a fuck what people say, besides your followers.
Yeah.
Because if you had a following of 600 people, let's just say me, for example, I've got 700 followers on the pod.
Yeah.
I cared about what people said, man.
We'll probably be buying followers or
be buying
honestly,
followers, and then I'm getting attracted by the numbers.
Yeah.
Because if I was in a crowd right now of 700 people, it's a lot of fucking people, right? And even if 1 or 2 people take something impactful from it, that's all that matters. I don't give a shit what anyone else says. But also, like, trust in yourself.
Yeah.
If it makes you happy, the post that you're posting, then post it.
Yeah.
Why are we...
But the thing is as well, we live in a generation where people are not happy for people.
Yeah.
So for me, when I see people that are in my field, killing it, like, I just message them. I said, bro, I'm so proud of you, man. Because if they can do it, I can do it. So there's some amazing people that are killing it in my field. Like Sace from Mentivity, True Power, some great role models to me that, you know, where I want to get to in life. So yeah, I look at it where, you know, if they can do it, I can do it as well. But people look differently. Like, I don't understand it. But as I said, it's mindset. It's
jealousy, Lamar.
It's jealousy,
People are jealous.
Jealous, I know.
People are jealous. They actually, I need to play this. I recorded it to myself because I listened to a pod and I just have to play it because I've forgotten it, but I shouldn't forget it because it's just so powerful. And it talks about jealousy. Is it this? So it's about criticism.
Yeah.
Criticize.
Let me go again.
Criticize because it justifies the risks that they weren't willing to take.
So people criticize you because they can't take that risk. They can't. So they want you to now. They want to infect your mind.
Yeah.
Flood your mind with negative thoughts so that you don't do it.
Yeah.
So then they go, haha, Lamar didn't do it. So now I feel good. And that is a place where you don't want to be.
Yeah.
And it's really sad.
It is.
It's really sad. But fuck the haters.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Fuck the haters. That's all we can do. Just we're at the time. Got 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
So there's a few questions I ask my guests. Same questions. First one is superpower. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and how would you use that to impact the world?
Now that you added impact the world,
it
changes it completely. Because I was gonna say flying because I love
everyone
traveling.
does that. Everyone does
But
that. Everyone says that, or they say strength, or they say invisibility.
Yeah.
But how does that impact the world?
yeah,
This is meant to be a nice deep question.
yeah, that is a deep one.
Yeah. Could be anything. Like mine would kind of be like giving the people the ability to just
I got one.
Okay, go.
Healing.
Healing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
Expand.
The sick. Just going into hospitals, healing people.
What about from like a non-physical standpoint? So like mentally healing.
Mentally, yeah.
Yeah.
So even that trauma, going back to trauma, whatever they're dealing with. So healing definitely.
Okay. Cool. Nice one.
Yeah.
Who's had a significant impact on your life and why?
Many people have. So obviously my mum.
Yeah.
Definitely just seeing how she raised us. Now that I'm a parent, it's you realize the stuff that she used to do. And she was a single parent, so it's even harder. She used to sacrifice a lot for us. My sister was like my best friend, and a lot of great male role models that has helped me growing up. So many like my old coaches. I'm gonna name a few: Trevor Hutton, Darren, Marco. They really helped me and shaped me, the man that I am today. They were bigger than football coaches. They were just like a father figure to me.
Yeah.
And my family, and I left it till last, but my wife, she's just amazing support to me, amazing wife. She's just always believing in me and pushing me to do better. She holds me accountable as well. So when I'm in the wrong, she holds me accountable. And my son just changed my life and just makes me want to do more for him and provide and just so a lot of them. There's so many others that have made an impact to me. My pastor, my church, family. So I have a massive support around me, and that's why I don't think I can ever lose because of the people around me, my good friends. So
it's important. It's important that the people that you hang around with, the people that you're surrounding yourself with are good people. Yeah. People that aren't going to put you down. Definitely. People that aren't going to tell you you can't do it. Right.
And that's where I've been this year. Like a lot of people, unfortunately, I've just had to drop off because, just getting to a certain place in my life now where, I'm all about peace. I just want to be around people that are good people. They don't even have to be successful.
Exactly.
But just good people, genuine people. And that goes a long way. And
I think there's a quote that I'm paraphrasing here, but it's like sometimes you got to cut the shit that cut the shit off your wings to make
Yeah.
you fly.
That's a big one.
Sadly, sometimes it is like friends
Yeah.
or friends in quotation.
Family as
Yeah,
well.
family as well.
Yeah.
And family and friends is always the toughest ones because, like,
Yeah.
like,
It is hard.
how do you like cut them off when they think that you're friends and you're like kind of a burden on them?
Yeah.
You're kind of negative. Like, it's hard. It's difficult, and sometimes they will never understand.
Yeah.
And then they will hold grudges against you.
Mhm.
And then, that's when the hate
Yeah.
comes in and they don't want to see you win and all this stuff. So, yeah, luckily I'm around good people as well.
Yeah.
I think it's so important.
It is.
So important. A quote. What is a quote that you kind of live by?
There's so many, but because there's one that I literally wrote down yesterday. I have different quotes in different seasons.
Yeah, makes sense.
But this is actually one that my young person wrote on the wall yesterday doing artwork. So right now, somewhere inside all of us is the power to change the world.
Wow. And how old was that kid?
He's 17. Yeah. And that was like, for me, that was like, wow. So somewhere inside all of us is the power to change the world.
What's that one thing in you that you think you have to change the world?
Love.
Yeah.
I'm a person of love, so I can get along with anyone. I go places by myself and I end up making friends. Just spread love, man. Like, cost 0p. Like,
yeah, it's free. It's priceless.
Just spread love. So yeah,
I love that. Advice. What advice would you give to someone? Let's do that's struggling with their upbringing or have gone through something similar to you, and wanted to go places, wanted to be a certain person. Like, what would be that advice?
Yeah. And one of my favorite quotes as well when I give advice, it's not how you start in life, but how you finish. So you might be where you're at today, but tomorrow can be different. Like, your life can change in any given second, minute. Like, so I always say to them that, what you're going through don't last forever. And sometimes God does it for a reason. You might not understand it, but it's building you and shaping you to the person that, you're going to become. So I was going back, just showing them love, that support, because that's what's needed in this generation. A lot of them need attention, and even for the older folks that are going through it as well. We're living in a world where people are lonely, so just reaching out to them goes a long way. And I like to just tell my story to people, and they're like, wow, because a lot of them are in my shoes, especially teenagers that I mentor, counsel. The young people, they are going through it, and I'm able to relate to them, and they somewhat get some sort of hope. It's just pouring into them, and if they take something from it, then it's amazing to me.
And I think an important lesson from this conversation is don't judge a book by its cover.
Aye, that's a big one.
Just because you're black, you're white, you're Asian, you're male, female,
you never know what people are going through.
You never know what is going on behind closed doors, and you never know what is going behind closed doors, how that can impact someone.
And for me, didn't even touch, but I used to work in a high school, and my biggest problems with members of staff, because I'm sure in a high school, members of staff shouting at you, and they're judging these kids, and I'm like, you don't know what they're going through, man. Like, they're behaving this way for a reason. Like, if you build a relationship with them, I guarantee you they're going to treat you differently.
Mm.
But they look at you as someone that is just strict and telling them off. I said, like, these kids need love.
Mm.
So, yeah, going back to that, it's just, yeah, just don't judge a book by its cover, man, honestly, because you just don't know what people are going through.
Exactly.
People have a mask on, like, they're walking out smiling, but deep down inside,
they're dying.
this, yeah.
Yep. No, it's very important. And again, that's where the element of respect comes in. Like, regardless of, for me anyway, regardless of whether you're a celebrity,
Yeah.
you're homeless, whatever it is, like, I'm treating you with the same amount of respect. And I think it's so, so important. And then the last question is the endless race. When you hear that phrase, like, what does that mean to you, the word, the endless race?
You know, when I thought of that word, it means, for me,
Yeah.
a legacy.
Yeah.
So that, you know, eventually when I go on, it's down to my son. So it's just keeping that family name going. And just, yeah, like, the race just don't stop. It's like a marathon.
Exactly.
So whatever I leave behind, you know, my son is to follow it. If that's being a good person. And so that's what it means to me, is leaving a legacy, or the work don't stop.
Yeah.
So it's leaving something behind, even for the next generation, and for them to just keep going and handing over that baton.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
And run your own race.
yeah,
Like, you're running your own race.
yeah,
I'm running a different race to you. You're running a different race to
100%.
someone else.
yeah.
And don't let people's opinions,
Yeah,
thoughts of you deter you from your race.
yeah,
Because, we don't live in sadly, we live in a world that is 90% of the people, just don't want people to succeed, which is sad, which is really sad.
yeah.
But Lamar, it's been a pleasure. That's the camera. Where can people find you on socials, reach out to you?
Yeah, so Instagram, Lamar Russell, so it's LamarRussell_. That's my LinkedIn as well. Also Amazon, Young King, Young Queens.
That's it.
Yeah, so yeah, you can find me there, and yeah, we can connect.
Wicked. Lamar, it's been a pleasure. Guys, I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.